There we go. How's it going, YouTube? Um, Today, I'm going to talk about how to be a successful expediter, how to be successful in expediting. Number one, do your research before you get into it. Research some of the different websites, expediters online. There's some negative aspects to expediters online, some of the negativity in the forums. Don't let that get to you. There are some good solid, valuable points too in expeditorsonline.com. There's different Facebook groups. Chris Jupiter. Hey, what's going on, Chris? Good morning. Okay, yeah, I think I know who you are. We talk on Zello, right? Um, so basically, check out Gatekeeper. What's going on, buddy? What's going on, man? How's the weather out in New York, New Jersey? Is it cold? Is it a little, nippy out there? Excuse me. Yeah, it looks cold outside. I'm nice and warm with my Timmy's. I got my I got my Timmy's coffee. Um, Later, man. How it going? Yeah, so check out the different Facebook groups. Start asking as many questions as you can before you get into expediting. Doesn't matter if it's van, truck, semi. You get a lot of good, valuable information on expediting through top of my head. Video, business, video, licensing, 1099 stuff, all that stuff we don't know about. Okay, I can get into that too. I'm Canadian, but it's basically the same thing. You'd be a lease operator or an owner operator. But check out the Facebook groups. It's called Transportation Life, Wheels, Wings, and Rudders, like rudders on a boat. There is Expeditors on Time, Expedite Nation, and what's going on, Ed? Expedite Nation, Expedite Drivers Forums, and I believe the real Expeditors. And if I left one out, I'm sorry. I just don't really remember it right now. Um, there's that. Another form of communication that you can actually talk one on one or to a group of people in a room. It's an app called Zello. 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 It's like a still sitting here in Laredo. Well, I hope it's warmer than what it is here in Canada or Detroit because it looks cold out there. And I'm not going out there to find out the temperature. I can do that right on my phone. So I'm gonna stay in here where it's like 70-ish, maybe 72, and do it that way. But yeah, check out Zello. It's like a walkie-talkie app. Remember the old Nextel push-to-talk phones? It's like that. It uses very little data on your cell phone. It's on Apple, Android. You check out Transportation Life, WWR, which is Wheels, Wings, and Rudders. You can start talking to, if you're trying to get into the industry, there's a lot of helpful people on that channel. I believe there's a couple other expediting channels, which I don't know the names of, so I'm sorry for that. I usually frequent the Zello page, and I'm a part of Transportation Life myself with Tim Expedites, Everything Apex. A bunch of us kind of started it to help people out in the industry and people out that want to get into the industry, to give them, options and ideas. And hey, look, if you do stuff this way, that's a recipe for disaster. Or if you do stuff this way, this is how you succeed in this business. Expediting is not an easy business to get into. You're going to sit, you're going to work messed up hours. You're not guaranteed work 5-6 days a week. You could get short runs, you can get long runs. You're basically either an owner-operator where you own your own vehicle and drive it, or you're a lease operator. That's where you drive. Somebody owns the van, you just drive for them under a lease contract, which would both entail you're self-employed. So in the States, I believe it's somebody just said a 1099, which you're responsible for doing all your own taxes. You have certain write-offs, stuff like that. In Canada, you're just a sole proprietor. You have to buy your own benefits, stuff like that. That's what that entails. But like I said before, do your research. Talk to as many people as you can. Weed out the negative ones. Do your research on companies. Find out what company fits you, not what, you go to a truck stop and, Jeff says, oh, I work for, I don't know, off the top of my head, I work for Panther. You go work for Panther and you absolutely hate it because it just, for whatever reason, you guys just don't gel. You don't like the way the company's set up, whatever. You have to find out what works for you. There's a lot of companies out there, big and small. Some people do the multi-carrier route, which is, you're leased to multiple companies. Not any of the big ones. The big ones want you to be leased to them solely, Panther, you can't take any other load than a Panther load or load one, stuff like that. And the company I'm with, I have to take freight. They're the only ones that can book loads for me. But if you go with another company where you work for ABC Expedite and then KYZ Expedite and maybe 2 or 3 of them, but every time you get a load, you have to call each and every single other company to say, yeah, look, my van's booked. This is where I'm going to, blah, blah, blah. And basically when you're done, you call back all of those other carriers and say, yeah, look, I'm offloaded. They may say, yeah, we already booked a load for you, blah, 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 later on today or for tomorrow. Then you got to call all your other carriers again and let them know the situation. So there's that option too. But like I said, do your due diligence. Look into it thoroughly. Look into, I'll tell you guys the best form of information right now if you're going to buy a van. Do not, I repeat, do not buy a Mercedes Sprinter van or a Dodge Sprinter. I'm not talking about the ProMasters. It's strictly Sprinter vans that were made by Mercedes. Anything the 2005 to 2006 were the least problematic vehicles for them because they didn't have all the high-tech emission stuff. Now, if you buy a Mercedes, anything, well, let's just say a 2008 Dodge Sprinter, which is the same thing as a Mercedes. I'm getting good at the alphabet. How's it going, Lewis? Thanks for tuning in, man. Anything from 2008 up to 2017 or 18 that's made by Mercedes, Freightliner, or some of the early versions from I think 2008 to 2007 to 2009 that were the Dodge branded Mercedes. Avoid them like the plague. Is that a Freightliner? Yeah, I'm talking about the Freightliner, the Sprinter vans. Now, some of the newer vans, a van like mine, the box van, 12-foot box, cube van, single rear wheel, GM have issues with the 6-speed transmissions. From 2010 to 2013, GM had problems with their camshafts in the 4.8 liter V8s. So the camshaft would wear down on certain cylinders. That's what happened to mine. I had a misfire cylinder 3. found this out after. They couldn't diagnose it properly, and I said, you know what? Rather than keep tearing stuff down, just rip the motor out, put a new motor in. So it turned out that's what it was. 2031 Sprinter here, they're running on Timmy's. Yeah, if they're gonna run on Timmy's, you know, you get coffee bean per mile. You know, coffee bean per mile. So every bean you put in the tank on the 2031 Sprinter that runs on Timmy's, it doesn't run on Dunkin'. Okay, Dunkin' Donuts, they didn't get the contract. Timmy's did because they're good. Every bean you put in there, you know, you get 2 miles to the gallon. So if you dump a whole bag in there, you're good for like probably maybe a month and a half on like $7. See what you did, Lewis? You screwed me up. Now I went off on a silly little tangent. I'm gonna talk about excuse me. Talk about the newer vans. The Ram ProMaster. Some of the things that I've heard about that. I've heard there's wiring issues, headlights pop, stuff like that. Now, guys, from what I've heard, guys are idling them for like a day, 2-3 days while they're waiting for freight, and they're wearing out the top of the cylinder head, the lifters. You get like a tap 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 sound, and you're not really supposed to idle them. I think that's what the reason is. Now I've been talking to a guy on the Transportation Life page, Zello. Dell, he has a Ram ProMaster 2017, and he read the owner's manual. What he said was there's a spec oil you have to run for that van. It's a 020 European, I think it's European series Pennzoil oil. I think he says he gets it at O'Reilly's or Pep Boys or something like that. And that oil meets a spec in your owner's manual. So he thinks that's what the problem is. If you pour the oil in, it's like pouring water. Because I guess the oil, it's easier on the oil pump to shoot it in the top of the engine when you're idling. He seems to think that's what the issue is, but only time will tell. I hope he's right. Now let's get into the Ford Transits. I know a couple people that have them, and some of the things that I've heard. I've heard people having turbo issues after the warranty period's up. But then again, it could be a bad part. They could just go off the highway and turn the engine off. If you have a vehicle that has a turbo, you pull off the highway, you get gas or something, let it idle for like 2-3 minutes just to let the oil and everything cool down in that turbo, get it to stop spinning so fast. Because once you shut the engine off, there's no oil gets in that turbo, so you just end up destroying it. There's aftercoolers and stuff, but I'm a firm believer in as soon as you get off the road, let it idle, let the oil cool down a little bit, let the turbo stop spinning so you don't cook it. I've heard of guys that have a problem with it. It's called a Glebo disc. It's like a round disc that replaced the U-joint on the drive shaft. It's like a rubber, I don't know what it would be. It's like a rubber compound or something, but the drive shaft connects to it. It's like they call it a flex disc. It's supposed to, I don't know, flex or whatever. Those things are tearing up, and when they grenade, it snaps. It takes the composite. Somebody said, Chris. Thanks, Chris. So when it grenades, it takes out your transmission and the rear end, and from what I've heard, it's like a $10,000 bill. Ford, I guess, are coming out with a fix for it. Another issue people have had with the Ford Transits is the rear ends. The clutch plates or something are wearing out in them, and you get like I think it's a weird vibration. I think Tim was talking about that, a weird vibration in the rear end of the vehicle. So that's basically basically it for the newer vehicles. Then I've heard good things on the Nissan NV. Like the big one looks like a truck front end with it's only, the high top. Um, the only problem with those is you can only get 2 skids in. So it's kind of, if you're only going to haul 1 to 2 skids all the time, then it would, I guess, be okay. They seem to be reliable. Um, the older Ford E350 Econolines, those were good. The only problem with those were the spark plugs. Sometimes if they pop out of the head, you have to either re-Healy coil the head or you'd have to buy a new head for it. But those were dynamite vans. It's a shame that those weren't made into like a Sprinter platform, because those were just dynamite. The transmissions on them lasted. Now if you did your proper maintenance, those were dynamite vans. The bodies on them would rust out, but if you oil spray them twice a year, they're pretty good that way. But a lot of the companies now want you to go out and buy a high top van. Rather, some guys will have a deal with Mercedes. Yeah, buy a Mercedes, or a Ford, or a Chrysler, or a Ram, a ProMaster. So do your due diligence, look into it, research it, make sure this is what you want to do. Before you go buy something, maybe go try work for a fleet owner for 6 months. Test the waters. If you like it and you're like, hey, this is something that I like, this is something I want to do, you get to learn about the industry. Oh man, I've sat for like, 3 days, 4 days sometimes. You're just, for whatever reason, dispatch don't get the loads. You still need to make money, but as an owner operator, that next run you get, it offsets all that time that you've been sitting. At least it should. Or maybe you can do little short trips and then get a long trip. I don't know. You got to figure, you guys have to do what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. That's really you have to find that comfort zone and what you like and what your dislikes are. I can't tell you that get into expediting, you're going to love it, blah, blah, blah. It's all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. It's not like that out here. It's not glorified. It's not, some days you just want to pull your hair out for, you get to a customer, they're closed. Or you have a breakdown and you have a load in the back. Dispatcher hounding you, there's stuff like that does happen. It's not a perfect world. It's life, But anyways, I've been blabbing on here. It's like almost 18 and a half minutes now, so I will let you guys go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the guys that tuned in live. I appreciate that. And give me you like the video, give me a thumbs up, share the channel with other people, and all that good stuff, man. So talk to you guys later. Hey, it's Mr. Sean. What's going on, Sean? Yeah, so I'm going to cut the video short, and don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. And hey, if you're making YouTube videos, doesn't matter what you do, if you make, elf on a shelf or crafts, or you're a cop, whatever, anything. Check out my Facebook group, Creators of YouTube fan page. There's a lot of cool different channels on there. I really recommend you join if you're making videos. What about the dollar? What do you mean, Chris, about the dollar? Wait for him to get back. What the heck? We'll make it go to 25 minutes. Oh, everybody's dropping off like flies. But yeah, man, check out Creators a YouTube fan page. Are you asking how much each model costs? No, I'm talking about expediting in general. I'm not talking about models or how much stuff costs or whatever. Maybe I misread something somebody posted. But yeah, guys, talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, share the channel, and catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.